written criticizing Israel Kirchner about the function of prices in economic calculation. Do you still think that isolated prices don't contain any relevant information?
Well, I think prices, of course, do contain relevant information because things that happened in the immediate past are relevant for present decision making. Only it's not sufficient. The weakness in Israel Kirchner's theory of market prices guiding entrepreneurs is that the theory implicitly assumes that the prices are sufficient information.
Okay, and well, let's pass to money, liquidity. What do you think about Karl Menger's definition of liquidity? Because I have the impression, the opinion that Austrian school has developed a lot the concept of marginal utility or of utility, but has forgotten almost totally about the concept of liquidity, because we can say that goods have two properties, both utility and liquidity, but we have just focused on utility. What's your opinion on this topic?
Well, I mean, the liquidity is certainly one of the elements that create utility of a good. So I don't think one can neatly separate these two aspects. I mean, the Austrian theory of the demand for money has suffered, in my eyes, from the fact that it has neglected the physical qualities of the goods. It has neglected to inquire what are the more remote causes of utility. But I mean, in our current generation, there are a few people who are working on this problem.
Okay. Another question or another topic is Louis von Mises claims that bank paper, bank money, it's a present good, not a future good. That it's like gold because it's a gold substitute. In my opinion, money or paper money, it's a future good because if a bank issues paper money for 100 ounces of gold and tomorrow a bunch of thieves steal the gold from the bank, the paper money loses of it, all its money. It's like a bond in default. But you have claimed, if I'm not wrong, that the fiduciary or fiat money still circulates because it acquires the property when it is defaulted of money. What's your criteria about this? Because I mean, it for me it transmits or it gives the impression that we have the previous money that it's gold and the new money that it's paper. So we have duplicated the wealth of a society just by defaulting on an obligation.
Well, I think, of course, the point is correct that the objective utility or the objective characteristic of a paper ticket to provide you services is linked to the possibility of redeeming it, and this might not be given if you have bank robbery and other things. But again, from the point of view of market pricing, the relevant criteria is not how what are the objective physical qualities of a good, but how it is perceived by the users. So to the extent that the users think that there's no problem in redeeming this, then of course it is a present good.
But if it is irredeemable?
If it is irredeemable, then it is paper money. It's not just a substitute.
But do you think that its value depends only on the acceptance of the people, or that the bank's assets, even if it is not redeemable, are important? I mean, is it the same? The irredeemable money, it's the same. It comes from a bank with no assets, or not with a bank very rich.
Well, the assets are important as far as the exchange rate of this money is concerned. As far as the internal use of the money is concerned, the assets are not really important.
And in your presentation, you defended Adam Smith. What's your opinion on a very specific topic of Adam Smith, that is real bills doctrine? Because it has been a very important topic that even has or was developed by some sort of German monetary school in the beginning of the 20th century. What's your vision?
Yeah, I think that this is a flawed doctrine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, because it implicitly assumes that the value of the goods that are, so to say, the underlying asset for the real bill that a bank issues can be determined independently of the quantity of money that is being produced. And that's not true.
But I mean, if you issue money against goods that are being purchased with almost security, of course it's an entrepreneurial judgment, but against goods that will be purchased with almost security, why do you think that generates inflation? Money inflation, it is obvious, but price inflation not.
Well, because there's always a link between the money supply and the price level.
But the money comes in with the goods and comes out with the goods, because once you purchase the good, the money is destroyed.
Yeah, but if the money this additional money had not been created, then the goods would have to be sold at a lower price.
But you can also purchase goods not against cash money, but against promises of future money.
Yeah, but this is a different issue. Then you sell against the credit. You sell for credit. That's different.
Not necessarily.
That's different.
And do you are aware of the workings of Melchior Pargia? I'm sure you are, but of Antal Fekete?
Yes.
And what's your opinion, your vision?
Well, he has some very good points in his writings. I especially appreciate that he was one of the first economists who has drawn attention to the fact that central banks manipulate spot prices through the derivatives markets. I think that's a very important point. I disagree with him on other questions, such as fundamental questions such as the utility of money and so on. But
okay.
Yeah.
And finally, in regards to methodology, you have a very important work on this topic. What do you think is your or the importance, the relevance of your approach, for example, against the logical positivism, the falsationism of Karl Popper?
Well, according to the positivists, you can verify and or refute assertions about the real world by confrontation of the theory to the real world. The problem that we confront in economics is that our statements are counterfactual, or the laws that we use are counterfactual laws, which is, by the way, something that Adam Smith realized perfectly well, and that David Ricardo also realized perfectly well. And as a consequence, we cannot directly apply the empirical techniques that we use in the natural sciences. The best we can do is to try to approximate, but we always have the problem of identifying the control group. And because we are saying, well, for example, as a consequence of the increase of the money supply, prices are higher than they otherwise would have been. And we cannot observe how they otherwise would have been, right? So in empirical work, the difficulty is then to identify some control group, a different country where conditions are by and large the same and where we didn't increase the money supply.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.